Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man. You know, that's your answer for everything, dude. Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Don't be a scrub. Hit the thumbs up. Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man. You know, that's your answer for everything, dude. Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh.
What is up? Shouldn't you guys be in bed? Right? I got to get up at 6 in the morning. Let's see who we got up. Georgia girl's up late. The sleuth intuition character. D, what's up, D? Polygraph, which Keegan Kline seems to fail quite often. Hey, Fight for Justice, how you doing? Ah, Rain Dancer, gotcha. Well, I was supposed to be asleep 2 hours ago. Well, actually 3. But I decided to take some dabs, and they woke me right up. So now I can't go back to sleep. So no, who is no thanks? Sorry if I keep burping. I just tried to down a Michelob Ultra. I'm thinking if I drink 3, boom, that should put beer puts me to sleep like reading a book. Something in beer and something hypnotizing about going back and forth across those pages. No thanks. I was watching AB earlier. He was going off about something. You guys ever watch that guy, AB? Aw, snap. Divine Visions crime readings. What's up? 4 p.m. here in Australia, but I am an insomniac. All right. You hit the qualifying markers. Oop. Let's see if I can fix my camera a little bit. Rain Dancer says AB is not so my thing, but finally it's about summer. Yeah, I haven't really watched. I don't really know who he is, but I watched him today. I know he's like a popular YouTuber, but I finally like sat down and like watched him, and it was kind of strange. He used some really strange language, so that was kind of off-putting. He called a victim's family member, and he used the word COCK in a sentence, and I was just like, "Oh, that's." Because where I'm from, you could say something wrong. Like, let's say you're around a group of men and you say something wrong, like you should expect to get punched and lose a tooth. I've lost a tooth. One of my back teeth is missing because I was all drunk one night and I said the wrong thing. Bop. You accept it and you respect it because one day you're going to have to take somebody's tooth. So there's just certain words you don't say, and there's certain things you just don't. There's no reason to be talking a certain way, but each to his own. I'm just saying. That's the way I grew up. You say the wrong thing, you might get popped and crack half your tooth, half your molar. Better than your jaw, I guess. Still seems a little. Let me pull it down a little bit more. Yeah, the whole Summer Wells thing. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to look into it. Hey, what's up, Stephanie? Country rules. Well, yeah. I mean, technically, I'm from the country. I'm a small town boy at heart, but I grew up in a big city, a big mean city. you know, I was one of those. When I was Abby and Libby's age, I was throwing up gang signs and having fights in the parks and stealing cars and getting stabbed in the hand, with screwdrivers. Yeah. So I have a different perspective, I think. Thank God I had all my felonies before the age of 16, but nonetheless, I had them. Sports. If you have a problem, child, and he's a male, I can't speak for all the girls, but if he's a male, put him in sports. Boom. That's all they really want to do. We're like dogs. We just want to run it off. Got all this energy. We need some discipline. What's up, Lisa? If the room fills up a little bit, I do have some stuff that I kind of, whenever I'm just kind of doing strange research or looking at weird videos and I see something peculiar, I always kind of screenshot it and put it in a folder. So I might show some of that stuff with you guys today. And then every day, and then the next day, I'll go in that folder and I'll see what I want to keep. I'll say, okay, I want to put that into my Delphi information folder. I want to put this in that folder, or I just want to completely get rid of it because my computer's cluttered. So maybe I'll dive into that folder with you guys before I kind of dissect it. Sup, Courtney Rob? It is 4:13 p.m. in Australia, Eastern Time, Friday. That's crazy. So how's everything in Australia right now? You guys, everything calming down over there? What's up, Zen? Is Zen in the house? Hold on. I think I had. Okay. There is something I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you the weird shit I do. I watch these news reports and I just take notes on them. How ridiculous. Who does that in their spare time? It's definitely not something I would used to do. It's cold, huh? D's like, define cold. Hey, and I lived in Minnesota for a little while, so I know what cold is. We're talking below freezing here. We're talking 12 degrees below. To me, that's freezing. Even though technically you could freeze at anything under, below 30 degrees. All right. Let me show you guys what I was looking at. And this is how I was originally going to try to go to sleep, as I was looking through all this information. So I might as well share it with you. It's kind of like insomnia stuff, honestly. Let's see. It's all jumbled, but I think I'm going to start right here.
Quiet period ends today in the Delphi double murder investigation. It has been more than 2 years now since the murders and 2 weeks since the release of new clues in the case. State police said they'd wait to say more until new tips came in and give time for the families to absorb the new information. Well, that period's passed now. State Police Superintendent Doug Carter is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Scott.
So I think we'll be safe to dissect this interview. Remember, this interview here is, I believe, this is just a few weeks after the New Direction presser in regards to the Delphi double homicide over there in Delphi, Indiana. So I think it's interesting to watch this reporter here hit him with these hard questions and to kind of hear what he has to say after I would say the most pivotal presser of the Delphi case. So let's take a look.
We've been reporting on Daybreak some 3,000, probably more now, tips have come in since the release of the new information. Is any of it different? Is any of it useful?
Well, it's all useful. It's all useful, and it's all, or at least the vast majority of it's different. Mm-hmm. So I'm thrilled with what's happened since then. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're not near done.
When we first got word, and it was on a Friday that we got word that there would be this new information, some of the things struck me as unusual.
What's up, Heather?
You invited the public to this. You weren't taking questions at that point, again, to wait those a little bit later. And then in that briefing, it seemed like you were speaking directly to whoever did this, with the sense that that person might even be in the room. Yes. Do you think that person was in the room?
I think if he wasn't in the room, he was close by, but I'm 100% convinced he was watching.
Why?
Why do I feel like he's talking to Tony Klein? I'm not saying Tony Klein is the bridge guy. I'm just saying I just have this weird feeling that's, and I hope they didn't put all their eggs in one basket, or they put all their eggs in one basket for a reason. But that's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Because of all that's happened over these last 30 months, the information that we had received, the information that we knew, and I hope to one day be able to tell that story. The information that we knew.
You said something during the briefing that struck me, that you feel like the investigators may have talked to him. Do you think that at some point or since then that one of your guys has gotten in front of this person and asked him questions? And if so, then how, at that point, did it not lead to an arrest, and how could it moving forward? Well, I think it's likely. I think it's likely. There's a lot of opinions out there. There's a lot of subjective opinions. There's a lot of analysis being done, which we're trying to encourage folks to not do those kinds of side-by-side analysis.
What's up, Jacqueline?
But I really believe that over time we're going to have an idea that we were onto something early on. But
boom. Okay, in 2019, we had no clue about the Anthony Shots information, right? Listen to what he just said. Every time, and they keep mentioning that early on, we're onto something early on. It's because they know eventually they're going to get this motherfucker, I think. Or they've put their eggs all in one basket and they've screwed up royally. But listen.
I believe that over time we're going to have an idea that we were onto something early on. But remember, this isn't a 43-minute TV show. We have to understand that's not just science, but but it's also human intelligence, what people know. Somebody knows
What's up,
whose
Heather?
body that is, Scott. Somebody knows. If you take the head off of a person that you know, you'll recognize the body, whether it be your dad, your brother, your
goes it?
uncle, your friend, your neighbor, your coworker. That's the piece we're waiting on.
That's also interesting. Why does he stay away from the face?
The human intelligence, what people know. Somebody knows whose body that is, Scott. Somebody knows.
Body.
If you take the head off of a person.
Why are you trying to take heads off of people, Doug Carter? Why are we taking the head off? Why are you
Human
avoiding?
intelligence, what people know. Somebody knows whose body that is, Scott. Somebody knows. If you take the head off of a person that you know, you'll recognize the body, whether it be your dad, your brother, your uncle, your friend, your neighbor, your coworker. That's the piece we're waiting on. And I believe that we'll get there. There is an extraordinary group of people up there that's doing this work, and I believe they're going to come to a successful resolution.
You mentioned the body and the release of video, and this is only 2 or 3 frames of video, but it shows the movement of the person. It's been asked, and I'm sure it's been asked of you as well, why not release that sooner? You knew right away you had a picture, but a picture is different than video. Why wait that long?
Yeah, a picture is different than video, and a sketch is different than a photograph. So you're right. You're absolutely correct. We'll be.
Okay. So they didn't release the video right away. I'm wondering if that had something to do with the Anthony Shots information. I'm wondering if they were busy following up leads on that and trying to see if that pans out. And they just didn't have an opportunity, to follow through with this information.
Able to one day tell you what we know and why we didn't release it. We don't.
See, he's like, well, maybe it kind of looks like our suspect. Maybe we can release it. See if we get some more tips.
don't want to show our hand. We don't want to show the complete picture of what we know versus what we think. And we have to be very, very careful there. Remember, it's easy to give an opinion if you don't understand the factual basis for what we've done and why. And I don't mean that in a critical sense. But we have to protect the integrity of what we know. And, geez, we're going to stay at it.
The sketch, and to be clear, and you did clarify this after, but in case folks didn't hear it, you don't want them to look at both sketches anymore. You only want the newly released sketch, correct?
That's correct. But remember, a sketch is not a photograph.
Right.
It's something similar to a resemblance. And the likelihood of this being something between the two is probably pretty strong. But again, that's a subjective opinion based upon what I believe.
And certainly you've shown frustration at the killer, at the fact that it takes a long time sometimes to find this. The families have got to feel frustration as well. And one question that occurs to me, if they are fielding rumor that you've said you don't like, that you could head some of that off by sharing some of the grim things that a family shouldn't have to share. Why is it that we don't know how these girls died? Why is it that we don't know if, for instance, they were sexually assaulted?
Because only the killer knows that, and so do we. That's why. That's why, and you're right. It's the frustration for the family is something I can't even begin to fathom or understand. And we've tried very, very hard to stay connected with them, Scott, throughout this entire process. But remember, while people starve for information, particularly for sensationalized events like this, we can't show our hand. We just can't.
Will there be a point where things change? Because it's been 2 years, you've changed strategies now. You have to be looking down the horizon if you don't get the resolution you want. You may think it may be because people want to sensationalize things. I've heard from people very close to those families who say, we're tired of answering Facebook posts about, did this happen, did that happen?
Right. I can't understand their frustration.
Yeah, this dude has a good point. People like myself wouldn't have to sensationalize if you fucking solve the case. All right. Now, a lot of cases are solved very quickly. A lot of cases similar to this are solved very quickly. So for him, Doug Carter kind of pissed me off in this interview for him to say something like that. And it obviously pissed off this reporter too, because he called him out. He's like, look, there's people that are dead and we're relying on you. You're telling us to back off, let us do our job. Don't do this, don't do that. But then you haven't produced any results. So it's kind of like shame on Doug Carter at that point. So that's another reason I wanted to show this video, because this reporter kind of like called him out on that shit.
But we can stay connected with them. And I didn't mean sensationalism in a negative sense at all, because I'm thrilled about what you've done, what you've allowed us to do today.
Okay.
Because this is why we'll be successful. This is why we'll be successful. But we can't turn this in to a wide open schematic of what we know and why. We just can't. But I believe that one day we'll be able to.
You've been involved in investigations that have led to convictions. You've been involved to some have ended in frustrating cold cases. Do you think someone will go to trial for this case someday?
Yes.
That's your Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Doug Carter, talking about a very difficult tale. The Delphi double murders, Abby Williams, Libby German died just a little more than 2 years ago. We'll continue to...
Yeah, he tried to kind of punk that dude. He kind of tried to tell him like, hey, look, stop sensationalizing. Like, come on, dude, you just did a presser where you talked about going in a new direction. You have a new sketch and you're showing a video and you're basically showing shit that you had on day 2. You had the video on by day 2. You're not showing us anything. You're doing theater. It's fucking theater. Nobody sees it. It's all theater. Law enforcement is thinking, how can we make ourselves look better? Not how can we solve a case? Look at the evolution of the pressers. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. It's human nature. Yeah, look at the 2018 presser where they went out to the trail. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, what are you doing out on the trail? Like, how are you going to house all the media? Like, you're just trying, it's just theater. And then they're like, okay, we got to outdo 2018's presser. You know, we can't, got to look like we're doing something. Okay, 2019, why don't we show that other sketch? And why don't we, like, you know, blah, you know, do this and do that? And really, it may not be anything. And that's when Doug Carter would step in and be like, well, one day, I hope that I can show you why we did what we did. No, you need to show everything now. Who are you looking at and why? I mean, you let Keegan Kline run around, this predator. He literally went to another state. Like, were you watching him? Did you let the FBI know? Was he under surveillance? Did he continue his crimes? Come back to Indiana? Like, what was he doing? That's so scary. You know, imagine if Keegan is involved in this and he goes, and then we find out later that he's involved in other murders. Like, what the F? Yes, that was me controlling myself. What the F? Capital F. Doug Carter. I hope one day I can tell you why we didn't say. Well, I was watching a video earlier today where Holman said they got suspects in the Flora fires. You guys hear that? Solid suspects. But they're not getting cooperation from the community. Shit like that makes my skin crawl. Like, if you really dissect what that means, yeah, that might make you pissed off a little bit. What's up, preaching to my soul? Always changing your name. Constantly. I like it. Karen Brown. Karen Brown says, I think it comes down to law enforcement flat out not having a clue. You can't even see the face. It could look like 3 million people. I agree. But someone knows something that walks, it's like a fingerprint. I don't know. What? No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Oh, sorry, Zen. Quickly as possible. Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of these big city crime shows like the First 48. Any information they get, they put it out. Boom. They call in the media and they say, hey, look, we got fingerprints. There was a gun. There was a sexual assault. Boom. They put all as much information out as possible because they know in that first 48 hours, they're trying to, like, this dude could be like right there. You want to talk about hiding in plain sight? Yeah, that's fine during the murder and during a few days after. But what about when it's time to arrest the son of a bitch, you know? What is he going to do? Hiding in plain sight in front of you the whole time? You know, come on. Damn it. So I'm wondering if they put all their eggs in one basket. And that's a video I'm working on, but I'm not sure if I'm going to completely make it yet because I'm not sure yet if that's how they felt. And I'm not sure if that's how they feel now. And if they do, that in itself is extremely interesting because even if they put their eggs in one basket, maybe there's a reason that they did that, you know? So KK were surveilled by police. See, we don't know if he was surveilled. They didn't say any of that. When they made their little speech, they didn't say he was surveilled. That's all. That's just what we wish would have happened. He was not surveilled. Yeah, that's not true. He was not surveilled. He left to another state, and that was it. Yep, Melissa. For me, it's not too late. And really, all I need is like maybe 4 or 5 hours of good, some decent sleep. So on that note, actually, I'm going to be right back. Give me like 5 minutes at the most. I'll be right back. All right. Turn that shit off before you guys fall asleep. Well, looks like we might have somebody joining us. Hold on. What up, player?
Man, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. What's going on, brother?
Nothing, man. Just trying to burn out the night.
I hear you. Have I came in on the end of the candle?
No. It's not even lit yet.
I hear you. I hear you.
What's on your mind?
Man, where's Bridge Guy? That is the question.
He's in Delphi.
You think he is?
I think he's right there in Delphi. Youngster.
I'm going
What
to
do you
tell you
think?
something tonight, Sleuth. Me and you have actually. Let me try to see where this camera's at. I've never done myself on with the camera on. I had a dream about 3 or 4 months ago, and I was sitting there and I was praying to God. I said, "Just show me Rich Guy's face, and I'll do what I can." He didn't show me his face, but the next morning I woke up and I was sitting there on the golf course and I was smoking a cigarette, and he said, "It's like God whispered it into my ear." I know it's going to sound crazy, and you can take it for what it's worth.
Hold on, Brian. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, right there. Now you're back. Sorry. I didn't want you to go through all that, whatever you were saying, and then
Okay.
not everybody hear it.
Okay. Well, I asked God. I said, show me Bridge Guy's face. And anyway, I woke up next morning and I was looking at the golf course on the place I was staying, and the only thing that was whispered in my ear was pizza. And I was sitting there and I thought, what does pizza have to do with this? You know what I mean? What is pizza? And I don't know, maybe you can put that together.
I don't know about pizza. I know Georgia girl put up pizza earlier.
Well, here's where I put pizza together. When that was said to me, I told my mother about it. I told my grandmother about it. And I said, I know that sounds crazy. Like, what would pizza have to do with it? But if you look at it,
Pizza King?
well, not only that, but if you look at it, how many pizza places are up there in Indiana?
There's a Pizza Hut right up the trail.
There's a Pizza Hut. There's a Domino's. There's a Pizza King. There's a Pizza Quick. And any lives that are not really lives, but call-ins that I've done with you in the past, I got to looking back and I thought, all the people that's connected to this that I know of, like, Keegan Klein, his father, all that is from Peru.
Kokomo, Peru, all the surrounding areas. They lived all around through there.
My thing is this. I was listening to
Galveston.
well the right the what was that guy's name? Derek Farmer.
Yeah, Derek Farmer.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed. And I learned a lot from his
Matrix.
perspective on that.
Yeah, the Matrix. I've been using it ever since. I mean, I kind of used it, but not kind of consciously. The way he breaks it down makes it much more easy to identify things that don't stand out to you. Yeah.
Right. Can you hear me pretty good, or
Yeah, you sound good. You got good lighting. Everything looks great, man.
okay? The one thing that I want to touch on is that what he said, he was talking about the things that changed the trajectory of what happened.
Yes.
That to me, that means to a lot of people, it may not mean nothing, but to me, that means a lot.
Yes, it's funny that you mentioned that because I've been thinking about it all day, and I was wondering, does this happen to be the same definition? And this is the word when after I was done with the show and was kind of reflecting on it, the word serendipity. Is that the right word? Serendipity?
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I think serendipity is the same thing that he was talking about. You know, something.
What does that mean? What does that mean,
It's
Sleep?
basically it's like something important that happens that changes the course of something in your life. It's like serendipitous. Something in your life that happens and change the whole course of everything.
Okay. Okay, so you know, it's kind of like Steve from True Crime Web has said, you know, and other people have said too, and Doug Carter said the same thing. Everybody's intent is the same. Sonny was on your live the other night, right?
Yeah, Sonny Justice. Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you go back and you look at her cryptic code thing she had on her live or whatever, it says Kai fucking pie. Am I correct on that? Or Kai something pie?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, what's another name for pie? In the South, we call it pizza. Nobody calls it pie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nobody calls it pie down in the South. Everybody calls it pizza. But that's another name for it in the North is pizza. And that's one thing when I was watching her live, she never mentioned it being called pizza.
Italians would call it pie too.
Italians would call pizza pie. I think pizza has got a hell of a role to play in this. That's just my personal opinion.
I keep hearing more and more of that name, Sandifer.
I don't know if it's Sandifer or not, but I strongly believe when I got to looking into this code, it says Kai fucking pie or whatever that code was, and I was like, so I looked up Kai, and Kai is, you know, knowing of intelligence. If you Google Kai, you know, KIE, pie is pizza. I think pizza is a vital role in this.
Well, there was a guy who was arrested, right? For child porn and CSAM, I think. Who worked at it, who was the owner or operator of one of the major pizza joints, right?
Right.
I know pizza. I know there was a whole Pizzagate thing.
Yeah.
Where pizza meant like child porn, sex trafficking, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Jacqueline Keeley says Libby had a friend and a boyfriend surnamed Sandiford. No, Bryden. I talked to Bryden before. He said he was only 13 at the time. Like he was just a young kid, and it was one of those things like girlfriend, boyfriend, meaningless. You know, when you're that age.
Yeah.
So he was a young kid. He changed a lot, he said. So it's ridiculous in his opinion that anybody would ever bring up his name.
Well, I guess what it is, but I've just been thinking about it a lot, Sleuth, and I'm one of those people, man. I try not to, and you know me, man. I've been in 3 or 4 call-ins that we've done together in 3 or 4 hours long, or a couple hours long or whatever. But
Good
it's
ones.
yeah, man. I think we've had some great conversations, and here's something that I've come to a conclusion on. And I want to get your opinion on. A lot of people wonder about why law enforcement hasn't released the rest of the video. Here is a theory of mine, and I just want to see what your opinion is on it. I think Doug Carter said in an interview, and I watched this tonight, and I've just been studying on it. He says, when it comes to Bridge Guy, that is the only piece we need. And if you listen to the emphasis he puts on only, that is the only piece we need. So what it tells me is they know everything except for who Bridge Guy is. So what I grasp from that is the reason they won't show the rest of the video is because they don't want to take the public's attention off of who Bridge Guy is, because they know everything else. They just don't know who Bridge Guy is.
Well, if you take any crime, really, any unsolved crime, isn't that like the one piece that you need is the guy? You know?
I mean, that's true. But what I'm saying is that everybody's saying, why don't you show us the rest of the video? I think that's it.
Oh yeah. Well, in regards to that, yes, they need to show that.
I honestly
I think they will. I think they're just kind of like the way they just took kind of the screenshot, showed the guy, released a portion of the audio, then they showed the full video and then more audio. I think eventually, like I said, it's theater. So eventually they got to give us more, they got to feed the mob. But most importantly, they probably already have their guy, because
Right.
the video that I was showing earlier was basically Doug Carter saying and this is not the first time I've heard him say it, but he keeps mentioning something early on. We were on to something early on, and hopefully we can talk about that more, and hopefully we can prove that we were on to something early on. Well, Keegan Kline was early on. You don't get any earlier than that. Ski mask incident happened on the 20th, 1 week after the crime. That's Anthony Shots. There's nothing more earlier than that.
Right. So here's what I did, Sleuth, and you can take this as a grain of salt, and I don't expect you to take it any different. But when I called to call my tip in, the answer machine that I got, I didn't get a person. I got an answer machine that said, who's your person and why do you think they're this or, whatever. And I was like, well, at the time, I didn't have a person. I was just like, well, pizza. Like that,
Pizza.
that is a vital clue in this information. And I thought, if I say this, it's going to sound stupid. You know what I mean?
Email would have been better.
Email probably would have been better. But what I'm saying is, I just didn't, I didn't feel like that when I called that in, that because they were wanting a person like in their age or whatever, I was like, well, they're just going to, they're going to be like, well, boys, here's another one, calling in with a stupid tip or whatever. And you know me, you've talked to me in several call-ins and stuff. I mean, I don't ask stupid questions. I mean, and it
Well,
may not be.
The way I was raised, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Oh, I know that, Sleuth. But what I'm saying is, I have never in my entire life I would never just call something in because of just a hunch. You know what I mean?
I need to address something real quick. Melissa
Okay.
Bex, are you saying that Bryden is that how you say it? Bryden Sandifer's in jail for CSAM? Am I hearing that right? All right. Sorry about that, Brian. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to address her real quick, and then hopefully she'll hit me back in that in the comments. Oh, she said yes. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's shocking. I literally just talked to that person like a month ago.
But this is what I'm saying, Sleuth. That night that I prayed to God, I said, just show me his face. You know, just show me his face. And anyway, when I woke up that morning and smoked a cigarette, it was like God whispered in my ear and said, pizza. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, what does pizza have to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even eat pizza that often. But my mother said, you know, you shouldn't ignore it. And I said, well, hell, if I call that in, they're just going to think I'm stupid, you know, or I'm just crazy or whatever. So I've been kind of holding that back for a long time. But when I saw the insomnia tonight, I was like, man, I've got to get it off my chest. I got to get it off my chest.
Well, I know where you're coming from, but I'm a firm believer that, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, because I have a Catholic background, not super religious, but I myself have put myself through that religious phase. But when I hear something like that, I just don't think that that's something God would do. Like, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think God's going to whisper. And, you know, I just don't think that's something that happens. Now, whether that was God or your own instincts, because in my opinion, and maybe I'm taking it down the wrong path, but I just want to give you my honest thoughts on that. You know, I feel you deserve that.
Oh yeah, man. I don't expect, I'm not sitting here and I expect somebody to say, oh yeah, man, you're onto something. Like, I don't expect that at all, man.
I'm not saying that you didn't hear something. I'm just telling you it's more like, be careful of, it's not that you weren't hearing it. I'm just saying, be careful of who's saying it to you.
Right. And man, it's one of those things that I have not said for a long time, because I didn't want people to think, oh, he's crazy, you know, or this, that, and the other. It's just one of those things that I know what I heard, and it's not any more far-fetched than anybody else's theories.
It's not. And I constantly pray and I constantly ask for guidance in similar ways, but you have to kind of keep yourself in check. We have everything that we need. And when you ask those questions like that, you have to be cautious of who's responding sometimes. And you can't always assume that it's God. You know, sometimes it's somebody there that's working with the person that's doing the crime.
Right. I mean, that's very true. But I started looking into that, Sleuth, and that's something I want to talk to you about, and I'll show my face on here. I mean, I'm not scared. I don't care who sees me on here or whatever, but.
Well, that's because you have a nice beard.
Do have a nice beard, huh?
Yeah, it's nice.
Only hair. I take my hat off. It's kind of thinning up there, so there you go. Everybody got a full.
Yeah, I got the five head.
I like it, Sleuth. You know what I really like about you, Sleuth, though, is that when I've asked a question in the past and stuff, like, you don't skip over questions, like, And I mean, I don't ask stupid questions. I want to ask inappropriate questions, and that's what I like about you, and that's kind of why I get on live with you or whatever.
You want to ask a real question? Yeah.
I like a real question because a lot of people, you know, and I've heard you say this in the past, you know, people talk about speculation. Well, here's the problem with that. People who dislike speculation, well, here's the thing about that, Sleuth. If everybody was searching for a needle in a haystack and everybody went to the left side of the hayfield, the chances of them finding it are pretty slim.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I've been watching a special on Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. And
Yes, sir.
something that one of the investigators mentioned, he said, forget a needle in a haystack. He said, we were looking for a needle in an ocean.
Right. Pretty much.
Think about it. For hard workers, a needle in a haystack, really, and it got me really thinking. I broke it down and I was like, yeah, a needle in a haystack really isn't that hard. If you get a group of people together and you get a system and you break down the hay, you're going to find a needle pretty quickly. You know, it's really not that hard.
Right. Yeah, it's really not that hard. But the one thing that I believe Doug Carter said on this last interview that I watched him do, he said, you know, and if you listen to the emphasis, that's the only piece we need. That's the only piece we need. So what that tells me is the puzzle's put together without one piece.
Burn
And
the
that's
hay
Bridge.
to find the needle.
I think Bridge Guy is the shot caller. I think he is the, and I mean, that's just my speculation, but I think, you know, Ron Logan wouldn't do it before he died.
Well, there was a case where this gentleman, there was a gentleman, he was trafficking women, young women from ages of 12 to 20. And they started they started back talking him, and he was making a lot of money. Like, he was creating an empire, and they kind of started turning on him. One of the girls was, I guess, seen talking with the police officer and took his card and things like that. Well, she ended up being murdered, and there was a video taken of her crime. The boss hog, what was the word you used?
What was it?
You used a word for the Bridge Guy out there. You said he was the leader or whatever. Well, this
Shot
guy was
caller.
the leader, the shot caller. So this was the shot caller of his little organization. And some of the girls were getting out of line. So what he did was he made a video of him and another guy that he worked with killing the girl. They essentially made a snuff film and showed it to all the other girls, and they all refused to testify. Nobody would come forward. There was rumors of the film. At one point, one of the females, about 4 years later, wanted to come forward and said that she had access to the film, but she later recanted her testimony, and the guys are still free to this day, and they're making videos and shit about how they were falsely accused, all because of the fear they created with that film.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrifying. And it wasn't some dark web shit. It wasn't like they made the film to put it on the dark web. He killed her, filmed it, and made the film for his own dark web, his own little circle. He showed it to them all, and that would I don't know about you. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm ready to fight at any moment. But if I'd seen something like that, that's going to scare the shit out of me. I don't care.
I'm ready
You know
to go
what I
with
mean?
you, brother. You know, that's the thing that, you know, Sleuth, that is a sad part about this world. You know, the people who prey on people, they prey on the weak and defenseless. You know what I mean? They don't ever step to somebody that'll step to them.
Easy targets.
Easy targets, exactly. And I've often thought that Bridge Guy was away from Delphi, and I still believe that. I think he's from Peru. I strongly believe in that. Just because birds of a feather flock together type thing. I think Keegan knows more than he's letting on, and he quite possibly, you know, we've talked about theories in the past. He quite possibly could have been paid to keep his mouth shut. People say, well, why isn't Keegan talking? Well, he could have been paid to keep his mouth shut. That's a theory right there.
He could be afraid. I mean, whoever made that video, they could have used Keegan.
He could be afraid. He could have $1,000 in his back pocket. So,
well, from what we know, that Keegan started communicating with Libby like only 2 weeks before she was found dead. So somebody could have been like, hey, come here. I need your services. I need you to start catfishing this girl. I need you to lure her to a certain location. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of money. That's it. And once Keegan was like, okay, I can do that. Give me the money or give me the drugs or whatever. And then he sees the crime and he sees how violent and he hears about it. He's like, why would I ever snitch on this person? Especially when I'm only being convicted of stuff that I actually did. Why would I ever snitch on this dude that could go and kill my mom, kill my dad, kill my family, who knows what, he still has loved ones.
Well, I mean, Sleuth, you go back to the open secrets and you go back to that and it says, Garrett Kurtz talks about, why he won't snitch on that person. Well, it's because of the connection he has, the people he knows. But he also says, talking about Jason Palladino, he says, the person who had,
is that an Italian name?
Well, hell, I don't know.
Italian people, they use the word pie a lot, so I don't know.
I mean, if you go back to the mob, though, if you're talking about Italians, I mean, they're not exactly, they snitch on people all the time. So,
well, they didn't used to.
Maybe not used to, but I mean, they do. You can look up Sammy the Bull and that other guy that was the head of one of those big mafias up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sammy the Bull was a big rat.
Yeah, he's a big rat on YouTube. So, and I was actually watching a video the other day on somebody calling him out for snitching. So, it's kind of,
strange.
It is strange. And one of those things that me and you definitely agree on, Sleuth, is when people say, well, all you're doing is speculation. Well, everybody doesn't need to go down the same path because the chances of that path being correct is pretty slim.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to get your opinion on the whole pizza thing because there's a person that I'm not going to mention, and I might mention it. I could send it to you off live or whatever. That directly matches, that second sketch or whatever. But man, the pizza thing has weighed on my mind for a long time, and I finally decided. I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about it, and if they want to come at me, type thing.
Yeah, don't. If it means something to you, what I think of it as is a clue. What does it mean?
I think it's a big clue.
Yeah, I agree with you because the pizza has come up, and it's funny that right before you said that, we had a viewer put just pizza. And I think, and it had nothing to do with what you're talking about. She probably was just saying, hey, I'm eating pizza.
Yeah.
But she literally put up the image of pizza, and then you said pizza. So we live in a magical place, and sometimes we don't realize that. So we'll leave it at that. We'll chop it up as that.
Yeah. Like I said, it may not amount to a hill of beans, but it's definitely a theory worth looking into. I mean, it's not any crazier than anybody else's. So here's my opinion on the video. Here's what's going to happen, Sleuth. They can't show what's in that video. This is just my theory. And the reason they can't is because they don't want to tip their hand. They don't want to take, like I said, you know, they don't want to take people's concentration off Bridge Guy. I think they know who's in that video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to help them at all. But they don't want to take people's concentration off Bridge Guy because they don't know who Bridge Guy is.
Let's take a look at a quick video real quick. And
Okay.
I want to get your opinion on this. Can you hopefully you're able to see it.
Okay. Yep.
In Delphi this year are hoping national attention on an upcoming Dr. Oz show will prompt new leads in this unsolved case. After that taping, I asked the families of Libby German and Abby Williams about the heartache they feel as police continue to search for the killer. What are they telling you about the investigation?
Really not more than what they tell the public, to be honest with you, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I want to protect the integrity of the investigation. I mean, the most important thing for this, or for us, is to catch this guy.
Becky, do you feel that investigators are any closer today?
To be honest with you, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I want to protect the integrity of the
You hear that?
Really not more than what they tell the public,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, and that's fine. I'm okay.
The investigation.
Really not more than what they tell the public, to be honest.
Okay, so this is for everybody that says, "Hey, I heard it from the family," or "I talked to the family and they told me this," or something along those lines. They're not going to tell the family anything any more than what they're telling us. You know?
Yep. I believe you on that.
So that was the point of that.
I agree with you on that.
Have you ever heard of this Wanky Spanky YouTube channel?
I've never heard of the Wanky Spanky.
Well, Wanky Spanky is where they found the guy's car who Keegan was using in some of his photos, where it happened to actually be in like Kokomo or whatever. Well, they found the guy on this YouTube channel called Wanky Spanky or something along those lines. Well, I found this video here, and this is a video 2016 January, and I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys and see what you think.
Do what, brother?
I'm going to share this video with you guys. So this is about 1 year before the crime.
Let off the brakes a little more.
So yeah. So do you know where they're at? Do you notice where they're at?
Yep.
You see that building right behind them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
They're awfully comfortable there.
That seems pretty familiar to me.
Yeah. They're right in front of the CPS building.
Yes, they are. Who would that be, Sleuth?
I don't know who that is. That looks like it might even be what's his name? DP. That could be wrong though. I'm not sure who that is.
You know, I've always thought about the whole Ron Logan thing, Sleuth, and the problem with Ron Logan is now he won't be of any more use to us, unfortunately.
Well, if
Do you have any opinion on his minutes that Marvin Frank put on there?
what? That's not the. Are
Do
you
what?
guys saying that Marvin Frank is putting some stuff up there?
No, I was saying, do you have any opinion on the coordinates that Marvin Frank put on there?
about
Ron
the phone-
Logan's cell phone.
Oh, about the phone call being
Yeah.
closer to the Freedom Bridge. I have
Yeah.
no opinion on that. I would have to verify the source of that information first.
Right. See, that's kind of like Sonny's thing. I would have to verify that, because when you read that text message or that Facebook message that she got, I would have to verify that, because what it says is, you know, this guy had this girl come over there and she was high as hell and she was talking about CJ Palladino killing these girls and that she was there. I find that kind of hard to believe that this bitch would, like, you know, implicate herself in that crime.
Well, meth is a hell of a drug.
Well, meth is a hell of a drug, but I'm just saying, it's kind of like what you're saying, though. That's not going to hold up in court. Because, I mean, I could say that you know, burnt down, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's probably why that wasn't used and why this case isn't solved. If there is any truth to that, let's say Bridge Guy has a lot of money. Well, his lawyer is going to say, well, AKA Red, Shayna, you know, you've had a drug problem for such and such and such and such. It's not going to hold up.
It's not.
That's the only problem I have with that. Because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
And that's what they're waiting on. You know, it's almost like they know exactly what happened. They know everything. They just can't prove it.
I think they know everything, Sleuth, except for Bridge Guy. Bridge Guy's the missing link. They don't know who Bridge Guy is. Because that's what Doug Carter said. That is the only missing piece.
Brian,
Who do you
final
think
word,
Bridge Guy
man.
is?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I have a lot of persons of interest. But I really don't. Right now, I'm clueless. I'm going down different rabbit holes, and I'm kind of trying to start from the beginning. But I want to make sure I give you the final word before I jump out of here. You know, I have about 5 minutes.
Okay. And I just hope we can figure out who he is, brother.
I think we will. I think we can. Like I said, I don't think he's far. And it sounds like Doug Carter already knows who it is. You know, I'm on to something. We were on to something early on. So maybe that does mean the whole Anthony shot stuff. You know, we can only pray. And it's only a matter of time.
Okay. Well, take care, brother, and I'll see you on the next call.
All right, man. Hopefully that's a promise. I appreciate it. Everybody that joined us. Brian James, thanks for another thoughtful back and forth. and everybody. I got to jet out of here. Insomniacs, I'm out. Take care, Brian.
You too.